Okay, we're on page 3. First of all, let me express my great joy to be here in Sri Kalachakra Center, second year. And I see many of the same faces from last year. It's always a great joy to meet my early friends once more. And there are many new faces as well. And precisely, this Bodhicitta retreat is meant to connect people, to connect the individuals, to extract, to learn how to design a daily practice for oneself, and in other words, how to be kind to yourself, then how to be wisely kind to yourself. These 2 points. And on that basis, what we tend to do is that we tend to, with the interest in Dharma, finding some benefit in Dharma, we tend to go to attend this teaching, that teaching, this teaching, that teaching, so forth. And then after becoming a little experience with various teachings, then one starts to wonder as to finally how to practice on a daily basis. Either it becomes very, huge volume to the extent that it becomes very impractical, and other times it becomes you are left with nothing to do. Okay, so how to reconcile the two, and eventually to make sure that on a daily basis there is a growth taking place, growth in your spiritual journey taking place. For that matter, this Bodhicitta the retreat is designed. Is only not many people have the impression that Bodhicitta retreat, this is about just the how to be kind. No, this is not that simple. This is in fact what I would say is that very comprehensive in terms of study material. And meanwhile, because of the morning practices that we do in the morning, like 2 hours we do, we see that it has the rich materials of the studies with for example, like the 4 seals, and related to the 4 seals, then how to cultivate the genuine feeling of renunciation, and then how to cultivate bodhicitta, unconditional love of bodhicitta for all sentient beings, and then how to cultivate the wisdom of emptiness, which actually cuts through all our miseries and all our selfish thinking and so forth. And then alongside what meditation to do. And then if we get more time, if we're left with more time, then we also go into, go a little deeper into practicing how to see the mind, your own mind, and then the various experience, emptiness of to see the illusional nature of the external factors, external objects, to see the illusional nature of the self, to see the illusional nature of even your feelings, to the extent that I feel so depressed. Even this depression is also dreamlike. So when you get a glimpse of this, you're freed. You're freed from the depression. You are freed from otherwise very depressing and otherwise very demoralizing feeling. So all these are being covered within a short span. And then in other places, earlier we used to do for 15 days. And practically speaking, people find it a little difficult to get this chunk of time in one shot. And then later on, we started to do it for like 10 days. Then it becomes like 7 days. And in some places, we do just for like 5 days, 4 days. And then nowadays the standard has been like 7 days. And I thought here in Kalachakra Center it's going to be like 7 days. And just yesterday I discovered this is 10 days. 10 or 11 days. Okay, in a way, so we are very lucky that we are having 10 days together and you are able to take out 10 days. That's great. And then that is lucky that I didn't know that it's 10 days. Because that this trip has been so long for me, from the like 7 countries in one shot. So therefore in some places the retreats just for like the 7 days, 5 days, and I thought that this is going to be like 7 days, maximum 7 days, was because in the Malaysia, organized by Singaporean group Tibetan Buddhist Center, this text, which I'm sure Venerable Elizabeth and Treshu Dojala knows that text, and then Christoph most likely will know that this text, which is Pramana Vartika chapter 2, which is a huge text, and the first half of the Pramana Vartika chapter 2 we did in just 7 days. So I thought the Bodhicitta retreat here is maximum 7 days. And yesterday I learned that it's like 11 days. Okay. So, in a way, while number one, people find it difficult to take out this much of time, this length of time in one shot. And for myself also, because of so many visits to make, thinking of now like 10 days for one particular practice, Bodhicitta practice, is little something which is more than what is expected. But to be very honest, Bodhicitta retreat is the one which requires really more number of days, because it covers lots of topics. In it, it's not just how people think Bodhicitta, just the unconditional love of Bodhicitta. This is not only the topic covered. There are so many important topics being covered, and I'm sure that particularly those of us who are new to this, to me and to this program, I would say that it may be a little taxing for you, little exhausting for you, but bear with us. What I would say is that we have 4 classes a day, 4 classes, plus 2 group discussions, plus 1 optional discussion, plus 2 hours morning, the meditation practice and prayers is going to be quite taxing. So those of us who have health issues, if you have health issues, don't force yourself. This is very important. I know why you sign up for this program. It's with expectation to learn something out of the love for spirituality, out of, say, the expecting to extract some meaning, to give a meaning to your life, which is so precious. Meanwhile, we should be very realistic. Should you have any health issues, meaning that if you require more sleep, we make sure that you don't stress yourself, don't overexert yourself. This is so important to make sure that you get enough sleep, rest, and so forth. Whereas those of you who have no health issues, for you it's going to be a little taxing, but it's going to be a great the practice for us, opportunity to practice. Otherwise, most likely we will not get such opportunity to run for like 10 hours, 11 hours a day. So today is a great opportunity, right? You may feel a little tired, but it's worth feeling tired. Okay. So with this, I don't want to take too much of your time, because most of you came all the way from your place, and for the several hours, and then already having been the here from with Catherine and with Venerable Tutan Kunchenla. So I don't want to take too much of your time. So what we'll do is that as an auspicious beginning, we will say the prayers together, and then after that I'll give a little bit of orientation course in terms of what is happening from tomorrow, and most likely Venerable Tutan Kunchenla must have shared with you some part of that, but the points I'd like to share some of them, and then we will we'll call it a day for today. Okay, with this in mind, let us turn to page 3 of the prayer book. Okay, this is a very auspicious beginning. Summer solstice, solar eclipse. Okay, solar eclipse. And say we light the lamp to dispel the darkness of the ignorance. And this is a very auspicious day. So with that in mind, setting a proper motivation for all virtues, precisely like the virtue of, say, the study, reflection, meditation, to bring about transformation in one's own mind. And there, they say, whatever benefit that we get, this benefit, why not we be wise? Meaning that the benefit, either you get it one, or with the same amount of effort, you can multiply it with 100 times. So that depends on the individuals and the way of thinking. For that matter, if you know how to set the motivation properly, then whatever virtues that we do will be just with the same amount of effort, we just automatically multiply it 100,000 times. So, how to set a proper motivation? The great Tibetan masters, they say the two virtuous activities, one in the beginning and one in the end. Two virtuous activities or two virtuous deeds, one in the beginning, one at the end. One in the beginning is setting a proper motivation. Then the one in the end is dedicating the virtues properly. If you do that, then whatever virtues that we accumulate is multiplied 100,000 times with the same amount of effort. Okay, with that in mind, for the setting of proper motivation, 3 points to keep in mind. One is refuge field. Number 2 is Bodhicitta field. Number 3 is the purpose of the practice, purpose of the study, reflection, and meditation. Number 1, the refuge field. And whatever virtues that we do, because this is something which we are aiming to go to a destination, which we have never been there, full awakening. And from tomorrow we're going to learn into greater detail. We are setting a journey which we have never set forth before. So this is an extremely, extremely precious journey, so meaningful journey, which we have never been before. And for that matter, we need a great support. And the greatest support, for example, say, for a child to go to some place, for a young child to go to some place, you need the support of the two parents. So likewise, the greatest of the support that we can think of is the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So, refuge, just keep in mind, you visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the teachers that you have in your mind from whom you have received teachings, and so forth. If none, don't worry, just think of the Buddha Shakyamuni and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And in your mind, for example, the Kalachakra Center, so it is initially, came into the inspiration, blessings. Of course, the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and then Venerable Elizabeth did it. Many of the centers he was involved as the the pioneering, the members or the pioneering director, all because of the blessings of Lama Yeshe Rinpoche, and then Lama Soba Rinpoche. So these are the inspirations, blessings. So and then those of us who did not, you and some of you might have your own teachers. You can think of your own teachers there, and finally all the beings who you see as inspiration for enriching, enhancing your compassion and your wisdom. So this is what we need to visualize. And then number 2 is very important. How you visualize them. In the process of visualizing, instead of just visualizing as the beings there, we make them so alive, like a living mother, living father, who loves you so much, who is ready to forgive you for whatever wrong that you've done, who is ready to embrace you under any situation of loss, any situation of the fear, threat, and so forth. They are there to protect you. This is how we should visualize. This is known as what to visualize and how to visualize. So with this inclusion of how to visualize, your refuge will be intensified. This is number 1. Number 2 is Bodhicitta. For the Bodhicitta, say we have these issues like issues with your parents. Now, coming here to Shri Kalachakra Center and taking part in the Bodhicitta retreat, what we are trying to do is we are trying to transcend the ordinary people's thinking. What do you mean by transcend ordinary people's thinking? Means ordinary people, how they end up in conflicts, how they end up in anger, and how they end up in, say, the holding grudge and so forth. So here we are going to learn that these are all just animal instincts, which Charles Darwin in his evolutionary theory, human evolutionary theory, he said that these are all animal instincts. Like you have a little bit of difference, then you become angry. So, and then even towards your parents, you feel angry. So this is ordinary people's instincts. And although Charles Darwin said that this is something which we cannot get rid of, but the Buddha said we can get it off. So for the next 10 days, we're going to learn how we can possibly get rid of such instincts, which is nothing but the indication of our being animals. And transcend these to see that we have a much greater potential, which Charles Darwin did not say, which the Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. And this is not something to have a blind faith. There's something which can literally understand it if we're able to look at it from a different angle. Okay, this is what we're going to do. For that matter, say, just for the sake of today and from tomorrow, things will become clearer for us as to how important it is for us to visualize your two parents on the two sides. Okay, just visualize your two parents on the two sides. Just keep that aside, even though you have some difficulties in your mind in this life, the relationship with your parents, it doesn't matter. Just for the sake of, to make a sense of, say, the next 10 days program, let us visualize the two parents on the two sides. Then all the family members, including your children around you. Then everyone here in this campus, including the animals, insects, the spirits, then the hell beings, hungry ghosts, gods and goddesses, and all the beings in France, all the beings in this world, all the beings in the Milky Way galaxy, and all the beings in the entire universe. Again here, what to visualize and how to visualize. What to visualize is done and how to visualize. And here you are the mother. And all others are like small children. And what do you mean by small children? Is that children, by the very definition, they don't see what is what is happening, what will happen in time and in space beyond the immediate space and time. Whereas the elders, the parents, they could see far beyond today, far beyond the 5 years later, 10 years later, and so forth. So that way, all the beings, they're suffering because their knowledge, their awareness, their thinking is very short. It's just so limited. It's not at all expansive. And whereas we're going to learn how to expand our way of thinking, eventually to know the reality much deeper in time and much deeper in space. And from that point of view, all others, including parents and all sentient beings, we should really should be feeling compassionate towards them for their being deprived of the opportunity to listen to this, to know the teaching of the Buddha as to how the reality is very different from what we are seeing. So with this in mind, then the number 3, the purpose of this practice, believe it or not, each one of us, the Buddha emphasized so much on the equality of gender, that the males and females are equal. And the Buddha, in his time, 2,500 years ago, there was so much of problems, there's so much of the momentum and the gravity of the male chauvinism in those days. Total discrimination against the females. And yet the Buddha so courageously stood against the female, the discrimination against the females, and brought about the equality, gender equality. So courageously made it possible. And the reason why the Buddha is so much into the equality is because he could see something that, be it male or female, be it religious or not religious, everyone has the potential to grow, potential to achieve perfection. Everyone has that seed of perfection, which from tomorrow we're going to learn, which is known as Buddha nature, which we're going to learn from tomorrow. So this seed is, as long as this seed is there, it's just a matter of, whether you unfold this seed. The moment you unfold this seed, you are as perfect as the Buddha himself, each one of us. This is what Buddha sees, that there's no difference between the male and the gender, male and female, or the educated, uneducated, rich, poor. Everybody has the same seed of perfection. So, with this in mind, our job here for the next 10 days is to learn, is to study, is to reflect, is to meditate on how to activate this seed of perfection which exists within each one of us. And on that basis, to see that this seed is there, is why it is not visible at the moment, is all because of our, because that is being enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, number 1. Then number 2, by the darkness of the self-centered attitude. This is what we're going to learn from tomorrow. So the whole purpose for the 10-day program is to learn, first of all, identify what are the mental defilements which obscure this incredibly precious seed of perfection within each one of us, the treasure of ultimate happiness. How the mental defilements, identify these mental defilements. Then number 2, to look for the remedies to overcome these mental defilements. So that is what we're going to do from today and tomorrow onwards. So with that in mind, finally coming to realize, okay, now I'm so happy to come to intellectually know that there is something inside, the seed of perfection. I'm not this hopeless person. I am, deep inside me, I'm as potent, I'm as competent, I'm as the perfect as the Buddha himself. So this is the reality. So I'm so lucky that I'm being a part of this program to learn how to identify these mental defilements and how to get it, what remedies to apply to get rid of these mental defilements, so that my true nature comes out, that I display such a wealth of wisdom, such a wealth of compassion, that I'm not at all prone prone to the weakness. Weakness dictated on me by the external factors. Okay, so with that in mind, imagining that you are leading this, each one of us, you are leading this, and all sentient beings are joining us, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 3. And as we read the lines, let us invoke the meaning. Let us try to invoke the meaning to the best we can. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sanje Jodan Zoge Jonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Dola Penjer Sanje Drubara Isho Sanje Jodan Zoge Jonam La Chanjo Bardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Kebe Sonam Ge Dola Penjer Sanje Drubara Isho Sanje Chodan Soge Chonam La Chanju Bardo Dane Gyapsuch Dage Jinso Gebe Sonam Ge Dola Benjere Sanje Drubara Isho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. Giving so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is afraid of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these here seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes, those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience help subdue us expounded varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to you are my prostrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with that divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Let us recite this mantra. This mantra, the meaning, I'll quickly explain this, and more detailed explanation we'll do from tomorrow. Om, this syllable Om has a very deep meaning. This syllable Om is constituted of 3 letters. A, U, Ma, 3 letters. And these three letters, they symbolize the body, speech, and mind. Body, speech, and mind of we, ordinary beings, and the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened beings, the Buddhas. So as you recite this mantra, it's a syllable, Om. This should remind us that my body, my mind, and my speech, which are so defiled as of now, my body, which is prone to sickness, aging, death, and my voice, which can easily offend others, and so much limitations, and my mind full of mental dirt, anger, hostility, attachments, sadness, anxiety, depression, so forth. This is not me. These 3 limited, the body, speech, mind, which are with so much of flaws and the limitations. This is not me. This is not my true nature. My true nature is so pure. The mind is so pure. The speech and the physical which come out from this mind, they are so pure. I must go back. I must go to my original state of perfection, where the body should be freed of all the limitations of the illness, aging, death, and so forth. And my speech should come with such a purity and a pleasant speech. Anybody hears what I'm saying, they should feel the ease in the mind. They should feel such a relaxation, freedom, such a joy in their heart. And my mind, it should go back to its original state, which is so full of compassion, which has infinite compassion. The measure of the knowledge of this wisdom is just infinite, and the power is infinite. This is who I am. I must go back to this state of the original version of me. That is what we should remember, tell ourselves as we recite the syllable Om. This meaning. Now the next question, how? How can I go? What can I do? How can I go to this state of the true nature of myself? How can I meet with my true nature? How can I manifest the true nature of myself with such a professional body, speech, and mind? So for that matter, then the following lines: Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum desham tathagato hyavatat desham chayu nirota evam vati ma shramanai soham. Okay, ye dharma, these phenomena. So this evening I'm going to explain in a cursory form, in a very gross form. From tomorrow, whenever time, whenever is the right time, then we'll go into greater detail. Of course, what we're going to study from tomorrow is the detailed exposition of this mantra. Ye dharma, these phenomena, all these phenomena of suffering, happiness which we are seeking, suffering which we shun, these phenomena, hetu, cause, prabhava, arise. These phenomena, they arise from their respective causes. They don't happen randomly. They happen because of but dependence on their respective causes. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat. Hetum, plural form of cause. Hetum tesham, these, tathagato, the Buddha, the one who has gone to the ultimate. Tathagato hyavatat is said. What are these causes which are responsible for happiness, which are responsible for suffering? These are indicated by the Tathagata, indicated by the Buddha. So our job is, for the next 10 days, our job is to learn what the Buddha taught as the causes of the suffering that we are going through, the causes of the happiness that we are going through. What are the causes? This is what we're going to learn from tomorrow. We are not to learn, we are not just to listen it unilaterally, listen to it, and then believe that, oh, this must be true. No. We have to listen to what the Buddha taught. At the same time, then subject these to analysis and to see whether it makes sense. So the Buddha would be very happy if we use our common sense to see whether what he said makes sense. Okay. Hyavatat. Hyavatat is said. Tathagato hyavatat. Tesham chayo is these, again, these causes, particularly the cause of the suffering. Cause of suffering, tesham chayo, nirota is the cessation or bring an end. Tesham chayo nirota, evam is thus, vadi is taught, evam vadi, mahashramana, taught by the great, shramana, the saint, the great saint, yes, vaha, this is established as the truth. Okay, so the point is, the meaning is given right below the mantra, the meaning is given there. In short, it says, Ye dharma hetu prabhava. These phenomena arise from the causes, and the causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation, bringing an end to the causes, how to bring an end to the causes, is also taught by the great saint. Okay, this is what we're going to recite 3 times. And those of us who were present yesterday, last year, We will sing this together, and those of us who are coming here for the first time, you listen to us, and then you join us. You join us in the saying the mantra. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. I'll continue reading from the next line. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-lighted, non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I will retire into the words. Beyond utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unceased, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the 3 times of obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are of the nature of suffering. All phenomena are of the nature of selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of atoms. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred to them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine the light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is no Okay, as the very auspicious beginning, and that because that this is a very important program, Bodhicitta, the study, reflection, meditation. In fact, that's the panorama of the Buddha's teachings, including wisdom, including the 4 seals, including the meditation on the bodhicitta, including the general meditation, shamatha practice. Everything is included here. So there's a tendency that obstacles can come in the way to our journey of this, to eliminate, to dispel the potential obstacles. We'll recite the Heart Sutra to make sure that we are able to continue this journey successfully. English, page 29. Page 29. Good. As we read the Heart Sutra, the basic idea is that this Heart Sutra, you will see that the meaning is pretty easy, as can be seen there, but the focus, there should be 3 main focuses we are not to miss. One is, say, to give the background, Buddha Shakyamuni was presiding over this congregation on the vulture's peak. Then then Buddha Shakyamuni was absorbed in meditation on emptiness, ultimate reality. Then on the one hand was Aravalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of compassion, and he was also absorbed into emptiness meditation. Then on the other side was Shariputra, and then surrounded by all the Bodhisattvas, the monks, nuns, and the Bodhisattvas and the lay devotees. Then the Buddha Shakyamuni, while being absorbed in the meditative state, meditation, then the Buddha blessed and inspired Shariputra to ask a question. So 3 points for us to not miss. Number 1 is, what is the question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara? Number 1. Number 2 is, what is the response given by Aravalokiteshvara to Shariputra? Then number 3, what is the benefit if you practice as indicated, as taught by Aravalokiteshvara to Shariputra? These are 3 points. The first point, what is the question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara? The question asked is, how should the child of a lineage practice the professional wisdom? How should the child of a lineage in the olden times of France, do you still have the king and queen? No. Belgium? You have. Okay, in the olden times, wherever you go in the world, there were small kingdoms, and all kingdoms, they were run by king, queens, and so forth. And the prince was considered as very important, because this young boy, was eventually become the king. So he was holding the lineage of the king. Likewise, somebody holding the lineage of the king and somebody holding the lineage of the Buddhas. Which lineage is more important? Lineage of the king or the lineage of the Buddhas? Buddha is more important, or the kings and queens are more important? Of course the Buddhas. Even though we are not the lineage holder of the kings, never mind, we can be the lineage holder of the Buddhas. Eventually we can become Buddhas. So, but anybody who aspires, may I become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings, the moment you say this, you automatically become the lineage holder of the Buddhas, the most important lineage in this universe. So, as the lineage holder, as the child of the lineage, what should we be doing to accomplish this goal, to become the enlightened one, to become the Buddha? What should we do? So, this question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara. Then Aravalokiteshvara responded by saying that dispel the darkness of ignorance and dispel the subtle stains of the darkness of ignorance. Dispel all the the darkness. How to dispel this? By igniting the light of the wisdom. What is this light of the wisdom? The light of the wisdom to see the world in its true form. What's the true form of the world, yourself, and the world in which we live? The true form is that nothing really exists the way they appear to us. They exist in a very different way. It is our ignorance which dictates us to see the world in one way as so objectified, so solidified out there. Now, we have to see the reality. Today, quantum physics talks about how what we see is not the reality. This is what quantum physics is talking about today. So Buddha taught about how what we are seeing is not the reality. The Buddha taught 2,500 years ago. So this is something so profound, it revolutionizes. This revolutionizes our way of looking at things. And then this revolution, the benefit of this, as indicated by Aravalokiteshvara, is that all our miseries dissolve. Just as we wake up from the sleep, we wake up from the dream, with the nightmarish dream, where while we're in the dream, we're being affected by the contents of the dream. We have the nightmare. The moment and we're believing that the dream is real. The moment you come to know the reality of this dream, that this dream is not real, is being empty of reality, empty of being real, then you are freed from all the nightmares of the dream. So, the benefit indicated is that the moment we revolutionize the way of thinking, way of seeing the world, we see the world in its true form, you will be freed from all fears of life. All fears of life, all the destructive fears of life, and thus all the addictive behaviors of a life, all will be eradicated. You'll be freed. You finally get the total rest of your mind, which you have never experienced before, the total state of tranquility. The profound tranquil experience will be experienced, and you can then, with this experience, you can share this experience with all the dear sentient beings. This is a benefit. This is amazing. In fact, today we see that people have to go through to seek the help of the psychiatrists, psychologists, psychotherapists a lot, and people have to resort to antidepressant medicines a lot. Whereas the wisest thing to do is antidepressants, just see how much they can numb your body, whole body, the cell, the bodily organs. They're being numbed by the antidepressants. And it introduces lots and lots of poison within the body. It's not just a medicine. There's side effect, tremendous side effect there. Whereas the best way by which to get over all these problems without having to introduce any poison within the body is the wisdom of emptiness and compassion. So this is what the benefit is. This benefit, just imbibing this experience of revolutionizing your thinking, that will help us to eradicate all the fears, anxiety, stress, anguish, lamentation, grief, bad habits. All these things are going to be undone automatically. This is so precious, so precious. And of course, it is not like a pill you take and tomorrow you get this experience. We cannot expect this. But this is something, you do it, you get a glimpse of this, you continue with this, then the kind of experience that you get is something so rewarding, extremely rewarding, where the antidepressants, usually what they do is that they simply make you numb. It makes you reduce your tension. It also reduces your happiness. It reduces your peace of mind. Everything's numbed. And whereas with this meditation, the anxiety, stress, they are being numbed, they are being removed, and your happiness soars like a waxing moon. So this is the benefit of this practice. This is so precious, so precious. Okay, with that in mind, if this is what you have, you love your parents, you love your children, you love your family members. If this is what we're going to learn from the Buddha, if this is what we're going to learn, this is what we are going to inherit from the great teachers, the Buddha Shakyamuni, and today we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all these great teachers. Why not I practice this, experience it myself, and share this with as many other beings as possible, so that they also will be freed from the miseries, tension, stress, and so forth. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 29, and we will recite this. As we read this, just see how much you can reflect on these 3 points. Question asked by Shariputra, response given by Aravalokiteshvara, and the benefit of this practice indicated by Aravalokiteshvara. I prostrate to the Arya Trubal Gem. Thus did I hear at one time, the Buddha was dwelling on Masavalchas mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Buddha... Then to the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Master, the Aravadugiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Master, the Aravadugiteshvara, said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness no other than form, form is also no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unseen, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There is no I element and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There is no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance and so on, up to and including no aging and death and no extinction of aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation path. There is no exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in the perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, all the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifest the complete awakened to unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, unsurpassed mantra, mantra equal to unequal, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mantra of perfection of wisdom is declared: Dhyata Om Gade Gade Para Samgade Bodhi Swaham. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the perfect wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravadugiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice a profound perfection of wisdom, just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravadugiteshvara, those surrounded in the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised as spoken by the Buddha. Okay, we'll recite this mantra 7 times. As we recite this again, visualize that the Buddha Shakyamuni so compassionately exhorts us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara anymore. Come towards ultimate happiness. And you, hearing this melodious voice of the Buddha Shakyamuni, you inform this to your 2 parents, you inform this to your children, to all the demon sentient beings, to everyone. Look, this is what a compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Let us not remain in the fears of samsara anymore. Let us all go towards the ultimate happiness. Come along with me. All sentient beings, they so happily join you in this journey of cleansing the mind to discover the ultimate treasure of happiness within each one of us. With this mind, let's recite this 7 times. Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata. By the teachings of the three supreme jewels possessing the power of truth, may inner and outer hindrances be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified, may we be separated from harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, so I'm going to quickly share with you as to, particularly in the mornings, from 5:45 through to 8 o'clock, what we're going to do. So what we read from the beginning till now, this is what we do, and then beginning here, we clapped. One, Buddhism has many facets: philosophy, psychology, logic, epistemology, and the metaphysics. Also, it has the side of the rituals. And some people, they emphasize so much on the rituals, and this can actually take one to more like blind faith. And some, they go to the extreme of saying that I don't like rituals at all. I'm not at all ritualistic. This is one extreme. There are two extremes. What is ideal is that don't say, let us not close the door. Let us not close the door. Say, if it is, for example, if you don't like rituals, fine. But keep in mind that the ritual, there are two kinds. One, ritual which is obsolete. The meaning is lost, and still people keep doing it. This is totally irrelevant. And many people see such rituals there, and particularly those who are intelligent, those who have the rich academic learnings, so these reasonings, rationalities, when they see the rituals there, it makes them put off. It makes them feel put off. Okay, this is just blind faith. Okay, whereas some people, after getting the good amount of study of what is reality and so forth, and then you still see that the people who are deeply into the concept of emptiness, very rational thinking, they also do some kind of rituals. So they don't close the doors. If you're not convinced, you don't have to do it. If you're not convinced, you don't have to do it. But don't say no directly, don't reject it, and don't accept it blindly. You should be free to ask the question, what's the purpose of doing this ritual? For example, we clapped. 3 claps. Why clapping? Feel free to ask all these questions. And you ask somebody expecting that this person knows the answer, and if the other person doesn't, the person who you consider as somebody knowledgeable doesn't give you an adequate answer, and then don't think that this is just a meaningless ritual. No. You can check with somebody else, 3rd person, 4th person. And finally, if you're convinced that it has no meaning, discard it. No need. In other words, the point is, do those things which makes sense to you. Which does not make sense to you, don't reject it, don't embrace it blindly. Just keep it neutral. So this is should be our approach. Now you may be wondering, why clamp? This clamp, this is, say, the gesture. For example, say, what is this? What is this gesture? Huh? Victory, peace, right? With three fingers, then more peace. More victory. 5 fingers, more victory. No, this is known as conventions. So when you say this, oh, victory, this, what is this? Huh? Great, good. And the 2 is too good. No, this is just a convention. Just convention. And if you are happy with this convention, you don't revolt against this. What is this? Right? What is this? This means good. No, this finger is not good. Right? No, it's just a convention. The world is nothing. The world is simply made of conventions. So this is a convention to indicate good. Likewise, clapping in one place, this is a convention to dispel the evil. It's just a convention. So if you know the power of the conventions, how the world is nothing but constituted of conventions, then the many of the meaningful rituals you will not feel averse to. Rituals are 2: meaningful rituals and obsolete rituals. Obsolete rituals, no point, just discard them. Rituals which even the people who perform the rituals, they don't know the meaning. Just discard them. No need. Whereas the rituals, rituals meaning is a convention. Some gestures which indicate something. And if you don't know what it indicates, don't do it. No need to do it for the time being. Till you know the meaning, till you know the purpose of doing that. Okay. Now from tomorrow what we do is that in the mornings, we come here. First we do like 7 minutes making prostrations with the mantra is there. Yeah. Okay. The chant, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami chant. Okay. So with this chant, then we'll make the prostrations. As the prostration, again, I learned that there are some of you from Nalanda and some of you from the last years. So those of you who are somehow either from the last year programs or with some centers, that's perfect. You should be knowing these things. Whereas those who are new to this, making prostrations. Prostrate has the connotation is again a convention. Convention of showing respect. And why should we show respect? Again, this question. Respect means that I really admire what you are doing. I really admire. So as a gesture of admiration, then you express this in some form. That expression of admiration is known as gesture of respect. And what's the benefit? The benefit is, with this gesture of respect, it opens up your receptivity. For example, if you admire somebody so much, if you admire His Holiness the Dalai Lama so much, you are so keen how he walks, then how he talks, how he smiles. You are so keen to learn all these details because you admire him. So this admiration, expressing the admiration is known as respect. With this respect, then it opens a door to learn more. More the respect, more the opening, the more the receptivity. So in other words, you learn all these things. And who are those beings to whom you are making prostrations? All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Who are these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Why they are so special? Because they are the beings who are perfected in love, perfected in knowledge, and perfected in power. With these three things perfected, the person becomes like a mother to a very dear, dear, dear young tender child. We, like a very young tender child, age 2, 3, so vulnerable, and the mother, the whole world, the mother is the whole world for you. So this mother is there to give protection. This is who these beings are. So you also want to become like them, where the miseries all dissolve and your happiness simply the expands to infinity. This is what we're going to learn from them. This is the admiration that we have towards them. So this is as a gesture of showing respect, to open up the receptivity, we express that in the form of making prostrations. This is purpose. Then after the prostration, making the offering the lights. Lights again is a symbolic. It's a reminder for us that finally my mind, why I'm suffering, is all because of the ignorance within me. Guarantees is all because of the ignorance within us. And this is what we're going to learn from tomorrow. How ignorance is the cause of all the suffering. So this ignorance can be, ignorance is like darkness. And darkness can be eliminated only by introducing the light. Likewise, to eradicate the ignorance of darkness, the ignorance, it is only through introducing the light of the wisdom. So, the light of the wisdom has to be ignited. Early morning, you light the candle. This is reminding us that I should light the lamp of the wisdom for all beings to dispel the darkness of all the beings within yourself and within all sentient beings. Okay, this is the offering the lights. Then, as we make prostrations, as we make offerings of lights and so forth, that you are accumulating merit. What do you mean by accumulating merit? Accumulating merit means that you are energizing your mind. You are energizing your mind. You are making the mind more and more energetic. Okay, this is so important. Oh, you accumulate so much of merit. You are serving the venerable Elizabeth is serving the Kalachakra Center. Then the Catherine is serving the Kalachakra Center here. And then the Christopher, they're helping us. And then Venerable Nicola is organizing this. And then the Anna Sophie is taking care of all these things. You accumulate so much merit. What does it mean by accumulated merit? This is again what we have to learn technically, not just believing. We have to learn it technically. Okay, so the point is that in the process of accumulating the wealth of the merit, say how much you're going to accumulate. Okay, same, just to give a very simple example. Say, little income that you have, you invest so that your money is multiplied. You invest. Investment in a big company where it gets multiplied 100 times, or in a small company where it multiplied by 0.6 times. So there, the money is the same. The principle is the same, but where you invest, that makes the difference. If you invest in a very small company where the interest is 0.01%, whereas another with 20%, 30% sometimes, it is wise to invest it in a company which gives you like a huge amount of profit. Likewise, say you do the same amount of the virtue, lighting a lamp. Oh, I'm lighting a lamp to dispel the darkness. Oh, I'm making prostration to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Just as the investment is so small. What you invest is you're investing in a very small company. Whereas you do the prostration, visualizing all sentient beings are with you. All the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are there in front of you, making light, just offering light. Although you're offering one light, but imagine that you're offering light, millions and trillions of lights, allowing and encouraging, inspiring all sentient beings to offer lights. With one gesture, same gesture, you accumulate enormous amount of merit within a short span of time. Whereas if you don't include these visualizations, then the accumulation merit is just 1 unit. 1 unit versus millions and trillions of units. It depends on the motivation. So this is how we should engage in this practice. Okay. So, and then what we read earlier, from there are some very technical stanzas. In fact, how this book came into being, you should know this. How this book came to be, it's not that there's a book once upon a time and this was reprinted all the time. No, this the effort of at least 12, 13 years. The teaching of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when I was translating for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, His Holiness gave teachings on many important texts, short texts, which I found them as so important, and oftentimes, not finding any English translation, I had to translate myself. So I just kept gathering all these materials, and seeing that these are so important texts, the root texts are so important, and then having gathered them for the last more than 10 years, 12, 13 years, more than that, I think 15 years. And then later on, adding more from what I've learned when I was a student myself in my monastery, in the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics, and also in the Demolosing monasteries. So there, whatever important things that I found to be very useful for others, I include all of them and put them together. This is how this book came to being. So there are very important stanzas included up there. In fact, just recently, there was one great teacher who only depends on English language, who does not know Tibetan. One of the Tibet house, somebody who's studying in Tibet house, they happened to meet him, and then she gave this book as a present, one of the books. And he just went through this, and he said that this is exactly, it is as though this is the present which is sent by His Holiness the Dalai Lama to him. This is what he said. Just going through the table of contents, he saw that this is a treasure, and it is a treasure. Okay, so there are many stanzas up there which you may find a little difficult to understand, and because we have 10 days, very likely I'll try to go through the explanation of all these stanzas which are so important. And meanwhile, if I don't happen to touch some of these stanzas which you think are quite technical, feel free to remind me before we finish the course. Okay, this is one part. Then we move to the next. Now I'm not going to read. I'm going to explain what we're going to do from tomorrow. Okay, next page is the 8 verses for the mind training. Before that was the Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra is primarily to activate your wisdom. The idea is, from what we are going to learn from tomorrow, is that the treasure of ultimate happiness is within each one of us. This treasure is not that some people have a bigger treasure, bigger share, others have smaller share. No, everybody has the equal share. And what that is, we're going to learn from tomorrow. And this treasure, why we don't see this treasure? The treasure of fearlessness and the treasure of infinite happiness. These are the two treasures. Treasure of fearlessness and the treasure of infinite happiness. This is what we have. We seek and we have. We have, but not in a manifest form. We have in the form of imprint, in the form of the hidden treasure. We don't see that. It is there. And we seek that. Everybody seeks that. Whether males, females, educated, uneducated, French, non-French, everybody is seeking this. Whether Buddhists, Muslims, Hindus, Jains, Christians, Jews, non-believers, scientists, everybody is seeking this. Fearlessness and the infinite happiness. And we have these two. Yet, these two are in the form of the hidden treasures. These are not the readily available treasures. They're hidden because they're obscured by the mental defilements. So our job is to identify the mental defilements. And mental defilements we will see, we can identify these mental defilements in various ways. One way of seeing the mental defilements is in the form of ignorance and the self-centered attitude. Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. We have to make distinction between these two things. Okay. So this ignorance, this is what blocks us from achieving the fearlessness. Self-centered attitude is what blocks us from achieving infinite happiness. So knowing this, then what are the remedies? Ignorance, the remedy is wisdom. Self-centered attitude, the remedy is unconditional love. So the wisdom, technically, from tomorrow we will learn, this wisdom technically referred to as the ultimate bodhicitta, and this unconditional love of bodhicitta is known as the conventional bodhicitta, two bodhicittas. It's for this reason that this book is titled as The Blaze of Non-Dual Bodhicittas. It's not just one bodhicitta, non-dual bodhicittas, meaning conventional bodhicitta, ultimate bodhicitta, these two should be non-dual. These two should be practiced concurrently. Okay, so Heart Sutra is as a reminder for us to cultivate the wisdom, to dispel the fears of life. And then 8 Ways of Mind training is symbolic of cultivating the compassion, unconditional love towards others, to eradicate the self-centered attitude. So 2 things. Then the next page is page 34. Next page, 7-limb practice, 7-limb puja or 7 practice. So this is why we are doing this. In fact, I'm sharing here today so that from tomorrow it will be easy for us. And why we are doing all these things, if you don't know this, I thought that it's going to be a very exciting retreat. It's all recitation. You may feel it's so bored if you don't know the reasons. Okay, 7-limb puja. This is also part of our practice from tomorrow. Why this is important is that we are taking a journey, a very important journey which we have never taken before. Very important journey. And this journey requires a tremendous energy and strength. For example, say if you came all the way from your different places, you came empty-handed or you came with a bag? Just tell me. You came empty-handed or you came with a bag? With a bag. Why bag? When you go to another room, you don't go take your bag with you, right? But why did you bring bag? Because it's going to be 10 days. 10 days means I need this thing, that thing, so forth. I need more clothes for change. I need this thing. I need the medicine. I need this. So therefore, we need a bag to carry all these things. Likewise, this journey is not a 10-day journey. This journey is a lifelong journey, many life journey. So we need to have many bags of the merits. So without this much of merit, we cannot undertake this journey. For example, say to throw this satellite in the orbit, the space orbit, amount of the fuel required to eject this satellite, the content of the fuel is much more than the size of the satellite. Because this amount of energy is required. Likewise, for us to undertake this journey of the Buddhahood, the amount of the merit required is so much. So, how to accumulate this amount of merit? From where can I get this amount of merit? So the Buddhas reflected, and these 7 practices are seen as the most efficient way to accumulate enormous amount of merit within a short span of time very successfully. So it's for this reason that we are doing the 7-limb puja. 7-limb puja is very simple. Number 1 is making prostrations. Number 2 is making offerings. So these stanzas, each of the stanza, as you read them, you will see them indicated very clearly. Then number 3 is confessing the negativities. Then number 4 is rejoicing in the virtues of the beings. Then the next one is requesting all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas to continue giving teachings. And the next one is the requesting Buddhist Bodhisattvas to always remain till the sentient beings, till the samsara ends. And then finally dedicating the virtues to proliferate the Buddha Dharma and for the well-being of sentient beings. So these are the 4. These are the 7. That is for why we are doing this practice tomorrow. Then the next one is a short mantle offering. Mantle offering meaning that as a part of reinforcing what we did to accumulate merit, we're going to do to reinforce it. We do the mantle offering. Mantle offering meaning to offer anything good that you can think of in this universe to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Okay. After making the offering, then you make 2 requests. You see that on page 37. You see the 2 requests there. The 4 dharmas of the Venerable Gambapa, the 4 dharmas of the Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva. These are the 2 sets of requests. A request that your journey of the journey towards enlightenment becomes successful. Okay. And then page 39, next page, foundation of all good qualities. So, with this, finally, with what you've done thus far of preparing this journey, what is that journey? This journey is indicated by Lama Tsongkhapa in 14 stanzas. 14 stanzas. And these 14 stanzas, believe it or not, if you are to study these 14 stanzas so well, you need to have these 3 volumes known as 3 Lamrim books. The great treatise on the stages of how to enlighten. There are 3 huge volumes there in English. In Tibetan is 1 volume. In English is broken into 3 volumes. To know these 14 stanzas, you have to study the 3 volumes. And we are very lucky that Lama Tsongkhapa, the author of these 3 volumes, he condensed everything into these 14 stanzas. If you really understand the meaning and if you read these 14 stanzas, which will take you like 3 or 4 minutes, that suffices reading the whole 3 volumes. This is very precious. Okay. Then at the next page 42, generating the mind of consummate yoga. Generating the mind of consummate yoga, page 42 in English. So this, what we're going to do is, now we are up to this point, we already have done the basic, the ground. We already created the basic ground. Now we are consolidating the practice. To consolidate the practice well, we need 4 things. 4 things. One is the practice of, okay, into more detail we will explain from tomorrow, but just for information, 1 single point of meditation. Okay, I would put it like this. To make it easier, I'll put it like this. Finally, our job is to remove the mental defilements. Mental defilements, somehow they are related to the ignorance and its stains. Ignorance is to be dispelled by the wisdom, light of the wisdom. So this light of the wisdom is required. Light of the wisdom is required. And this light of the wisdom should have 2 qualities. 1, this light must be very bright. Number 2, this light must be very steady. If in dark, you read the book, if you light a candle, if the candle is, because of the wind, the candle is flickery, you cannot read the book. So the light must be very bright, it should not be flickery, it should be steady. So the brightness is the wisdom, and the steadiness is the single point of meditation. These 2 are required. So 2. Now plus, so these 2 lights, with these 2 lights, we remove the darkness. Like the very sharp axe, we cut the poisonous tree. So the sharp axe is like this bright light to cut the poisonous tree, and the steadiness of the hand is required to make sure that you cut the poisonous tree effectively. But the woodcutter should have very strong arms and the enthusiasm to cut it. Enthusiasm must be very strong, and the arms, the body should be very strong. For that matter, the motivation to use this wisdom, motivation must be very powerful. And the motivation is of 2 kinds. Motivation for yourself, motivation for all beings. Unless you have the experience of motivation for yourself, motivation for others will not come effectively. So motivation to remove the darkness within yourself, that is known as renunciation. What exactly is renunciation is going to be explained from tomorrow. So for the motivation, the one is the renunciation. With this renunciation, when you apply this to others, then bodhicitta. bodhicitta. So this wisdom, light of the wisdom, must be supported by the motivation of the bodhicitta, which in turn must rest on the renunciation. So we have 4 practices. The wisdom supported by this single-pointed meditation, steadiness, motivation-wise, bodhicitta. This must be resting, or this must be supported by the renunciation. So these 4 practices are to be done as a part of consolidating our practice here, generally the mode of consummate yoga. Okay, so these 4 done, then we take the aspirational bodhisattva vow. Aspiration bodhisattva vow, there are 2 kinds. Bodhisattva vow, there are 2 kinds. One is the proper bodhisattva vow. So there, we are not to take nowadays, I don't know, people, in fact, even to take the bodhisattva vow, one should be prepared so well. The proper bodhisattva vow, actual bodhisattva vow. Many people, taking the bodhisattva vow is so easy. To take even the highest yoga tantric vows, so easily taken. This is where we are going wrong. So don't be so keen on taking the tantric vows. That's not easy. Until you are ready, you are really ready, ready, don't take the tantric vows. This is very serious matter. And then some of you may be wondering, how do I know that I'm ready? If this is your thought, how do you know that I'm ready, you are not ready? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have a doubt that, am I ready or not? How do I know? Which means that you are not at all ready. Don't take it. If this is a thought coming to you. Nowadays, it becomes like a fashion to say that, oh, there's this initiation, and this is very precious. This is maybe the last empowerment that His Holiness is giving, last empowerment that this teacher is giving. So if you don't get it, this is not the way. This is not at all the way. If this is the reason you are taking the empowerment, oh, perhaps this last empowerment, so therefore I have to take it. If this is the reason, don't take it. And if you doubt that whether I'm qualified or not, if you doubt whether I'm qualified for the empowerment or not, you're not qualified. Don't do it. Don't ask anybody. It's very simple. If you think that you have a doubt, if you think that you are qualified or not qualified, you're not qualified. Guaranteed. Right? Okay. So, the point is, instead, do something which you can do. Taking aspirational bodhisattva vow. This is a very beautiful practice which does not require any commitment. It is not the actual bodhisattva vow. Actual bodhisattva vow is known as engaged bodhisattva vow, and this is known as, what we are doing from tomorrow is known as aspirational bodhisattva vow. For the engaged bodhisattva vow, there are so many commitments. So many commitments, not only commitments, that you should be already evolved to a great extent. If you're not evolved, no way, don't take that engaged bodhisattva vow. Whereas, to prepare yourself, but don't stay there at all. Don't stay like this, not moving at all. Move. Move towards taking the engaged bodhisattva vow eventually. How? By taking the aspirational bodhisattva vow. This is a very safe practice which you don't have any commitment. If you don't do this, then this is the infraction, this is a downfall. No such problems are there. Just the commitment is that from today onwards, to the best I can, I will be kind towards others. At least I will not harm others. This is commitment to tell you. If you can commit this much, you are entitled to take the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Okay, so these are 4 things. And then finish. Then we do the end direction prayer. Okay, so this is for the morning practices. Then the remaining very quick, I'd like to share with you is this book. We're going to carry with us the morning practice, then the 3 meals, all the 3 meals. We'll carry this book with us because we're going to read like the 20 stanzas before each of the meals. Before each meals, we'll read 20 stanzas together. Why? And in French, if we have translated completely, whatever you have translated. We can read up to this point. And the point why this reading is so important, 20 stanzas. Reading these 20 stanzas along with the classes that we're doing from tomorrow. If the classes is for like just say like 10 days, then you read 20 stanzas before every meal. Our class, that it suffices. What you're doing would then suffice like doing the class for like 30 days. We're doing just for 10 days. And reading this text, you will see that, this text is very precious. We are so fortunate that we're reading this. Actually, it's because you attend the class. Then the stanzas will make sense to you. And then it is like taking another class alongside. So that it has a triple benefit. The benefit that you get after the classes, 10 days, and then you're reading the 20 stanzas every meal, that will add up to like another 20 days of class. So that is so wise of us. It's going to be a little taxing for you, but I would still suggest that you don't miss reading those stanzas. If possible, make sure that you are there while reading the stanzas. Okay, this is one thing. Then food offering. After the reading the text, then offering the food. Offering the food is the same. And you may be wondering, why food offering to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas? Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they will not eat it. Right? And finally, I'm going to eat it. Okay. This is very important practice. Important practice. Why? In what way it is important? In what way it benefits? Always try to see to the benefit. If you don't see the benefit, you don't have to do it. And if the benefit is seen, if you're not doing it, then this is a great loss. This is bad on a part. Okay. So the benefit is that, for example, I'll just share you one thing. It's a very touching story. It's a very touching story. The father and the daughter. The daughter was very young. And the father loves the daughter so much. The daughter loves the father so much. And the daughter, for the education reason, for the reason of her school, she had to, stay a little away from the parents. The father, mother, brothers. And then on the Christmas, the daughter would send Christmas card. In those days, many days ago, when the email was not there. And the card, the father, for him, not just open the envelope and to take out the card, okay, and my daddy, I love you, happy Christmas, whatever. We think like this. No. For him, I was shocked to learn this. That I learned this from the girl's mother, the wife of this gentleman, the girl's mother. The mother told me one day that the father's love towards this young daughter was that he received the Christmas card. He would, first of all, cut the envelope so nicely that it is not cut in a disrespectful way. To make sure that it's cut in such a nice way. And the small piece which is cut, he would make sure that it is put inside the envelope and the card out. And then after 1 or 2 days, he was asking the wife, "Where's my card? Card sent by my daughter. Where's the card?" And then she gave the card. "Where's the envelope?" He was not even letting go of this envelope. The card, of course. Even the envelope, he treasures it so much. This is the indication of the love. Genuine love and affection. Okay, so now, say, okay. There's a Tibetan expression which says that, okay, this is very, yeah. Tibetan expression which says that, however small the flower is, it can be, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a tree. However small the flower is, it can be a the substance of offering. It can be a gift of offering. Okay. So what it says is that when it comes with a very pure heart, it doesn't matter the value, how expensive, how beautiful. This is not the point. The point is that if it comes from a very pure heart, it is really the offering. Even if it is so expensive, if it's not coming from pure heart, this is not offering. So with a very pure heart, whatever we are having, before we have mental, we offer this to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. For the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, we are like the very tender, young, innocent children. They love us so much. And how? With a study. From tomorrow, what are you doing, these studies? From there, you can infer what the thoughts of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are towards us. These thoughts make them Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. If somebody is lacking this infinite love towards us, to the extent that they see us as a very young, tender children, if this is what is lacking, they are not Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So the fact that somebody is Buddhas and Bodhisattva means that this person, he or she, has this tremendously profound feeling of love and affection to each and every one of us. Okay, so with this, even if what you're offering is just a very ordinary food, after all you're going to eat it, but mentally you wholeheartedly offer this to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, it doesn't matter what is material. So you're offering with a pure heart. That is what the Buddhas appreciate, not the food. So they appreciate it as a gesture, appreciating your love and affection, your devotion, your respect. They will feel connected to the food. This is what it. So that way the food is also blessed. Okay, so that is about the food offering. Then the next part is maybe the last part is group discussions. Group discussions, to the Guinchela, how many groups? Okay, I may say that look at the size of the French speaking people. 13. The other group? Oh.
Approximately
13. Okay. In which case 13. Okay, that's good. So day 1, let's make it 13. If it is too big, then we can make it like 6, 7. Yeah. Then because that to make sure that this is more later we can discuss, to make sure that all the groups, they're active. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. A group discussion is very important, and the two group discussions, the one morning, one afternoon, these two are more mandatory, and then the evening group discussion, that is optional. That is one group. Evening one is going to be just one group. Anybody who likes to take part in this, you can come. And then the English and French again 2.
Yes,
Evening also there should be 2. Okay, evening is going to be 2. But then why not? Make it 1. Let everybody come together. And then if there's a language barrier, then somebody can translate. Or if Christoph is there, Christoph will translate. And if not, then somebody will translate something half. Yeah. Okay. So evening, make it 1, so that everybody will come to know each other. Yeah, that'll be good. And the evening would be a great sharing. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do, and then in the course, I would request you that go to bed a little early, because tomorrow morning we have to get up early, and you must get enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, the problem is that then in the class you may not hear anything. right? Okay. So the conventional bodhicitta is fine. It's quite interesting. The ultimate bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness. The topic is very subtle. When the topic is very subtle and your mind is a little hazy, you will not see the subtlety, you will not see the nuances. Okay, what happened one time? One time. Okay, this little digression. Okay, done. So we'll do a quick dedication prayer. Page 49. English, page 49. French? Same. Very good. Okay, we'll do the dedication. Let us, because this is the day one, although it is an orientation. Okay. Since that this is the day one, let us dedicate properly. Dedicate matters properly. Let us dedicate that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also dedicate merits that's gathered, that all the great teachers in the monastic universities, such as His Holiness Ganden Rinpoche, and all the great teachers in the Ganden, Sera, Depong, and from all the various traditions, Sakya, Kakyu, Nyingma, Gelug, all these great teachers, they live long, and that the wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. And all the centers, such as Kalachakra Center, and all the centers worldwide, from all the traditions, Sakya, Kakyu, Nyingma, Gelug, who really disseminate, who take the responsibility of disseminating the genuine Buddha Dharma, may all these centers thrive in the activities of teaching, reflecting, and meditating. And let me also personally dedicate merits that's gathered, that each one of you here, the attendees here, you through concerted effort, soon be able to see the dawn of the Bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness within you, so that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all Dharma sentient beings towards ultimate happiness eternally. May the teaching of Bodhicitta flourish in alternate directions. May the teaching of the wisdom of emptiness flourish in alternate directions. With that in mind, let's recite the dedication prayers together. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that these in the prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the three times, and to the upholding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May I in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from four wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the two stages. From my two collections, vast the space that I have amassed, for working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom has blinded with ignorance. Om Muni Muni Maha Muni Swaha. 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 Deyatha Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha Tyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhi Swaha. Okay, three prostrations together.